Let's get a mic check here. 1-2-1-2, episode 39. No gruffs given. It's raining in California. President Biden has just announced a state of emergency for the state of California. The world is burning around us. I would like to start with a psalm. Psalm 23, 1-6. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Episode 39, no gruffs given. I had somebody recommend this psalm to me. And it's kind of like it's an energy that you need to put out. Maybe it's an energy of surrendering yourself. Like, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I've surrendered myself to martial arts. Right? We have this we're on a tightrope. What do we surrender ourselves to? Will we surrender ourselves back to the COVID hysteria? Boston public schools temporarily making their students and teachers masking again? I just want to remind ourselves, right? And I want to talk about a bunch of different things. But there's a lot going on. And I guess the central theme of today's episode, not in my wildest dreams would I ever thought that the overarching vibe has come back full circle to religion. Religion. Now, like I said, I got a lot to talk about, but first I walked in and Action Park is clean, okay? You get Scotty boy, he's not here. He's not here right now because he's cleaning. The start of a month, you got a full arsenal of zips, and I know everybody's mad at me about talking about zips, but man, oh man, he's got a lot done in here. So I just want to start by saying thank you, Scotty. Look good, feel good, work hard, play hard. Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, I'm not a Wikipedia page on Jordan Peterson. I'm a big fan of Jordan. But he's under attack right now. And we can talk about that. He's under attack. He retweeted Pierre Poilievre, or whatever the guy's name is, the gentleman's name, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada. And long story short is that now the Ontario College of Psychology is essentially trying to discipline him. Now, but the reason I wanted to start with Jordan Peterson is because I believe Jordan Peterson has this strong faith aura around him. And I don't know if he's a Christian or evangelical. I don't know if Jordan Peterson is Jewish. I'm talking about, I feel like Jordan stands for some sort of faith, right? That there's a higher power, even in the worlds of philosophical gods. And it really just kind of got me thinking, and I'll tell you, and I don't know if this is a coincidence or what, but there's this church in Los Angeles called Mosaic, okay? And for some reason, I walked in there on a Sunday a while back. Now, I, to this day, don't really understand what's going on when I'm in the church because I don't have any I didn't go to Bible school. I didn't grow up going to church. I don't understand the stories. I have a tough time concentrating while I'm there, like really focusing on the words. It's kind of like one of these, it's like Righteous Gemstones, but of Hollywood. That's how I would describe Mosaic. You know, and I love Righteous Gemstones, as I think everybody has, but it's not that vibe, but it's in Hollywood, California, you know, essentially across the street from the Scientology Center. You sign up on an app and you go to church. It's the new age, right? But it feels like, you know, everything is happening for a reason. Reminds me of that Radiohead song, Everything in Its Right Place. So something has been planted in my head a little bit, that this has just been bouncing, and religion is the wrong word. It's faith. Okay? It's faith. And for some reason today I went online and I saw an article regarding the rapper MIA. Now, I know who MIA is. I've been a fan of her music, you know. So there's a story. She essentially tweets something. She says, the fact that the biggest backlash in my career and life that I'm facing is after saying Jesus is real. It's such a revelation to me. People who control these apps rather me be a bad girl than a good one. So MIA has become a born-again Christian. Now, I don't know if she was an atheist prior, but she was part of something, right? I wouldn't have associated her with, you know, and by the way, the extremes of like Kanye and his faith, that doesn't resonate with me. I'm talking about there's something palpable, you know, that what do you fall back on? The fundamentals, right? If you ever get in trouble out on the ice, just fall back on your fundamentals. Pull yourself together, 5-man unit, get tight, block shots, get the puck out of the zone and get a change. Well, what are our current day fundamentals? Like, what do we lean back on? When we get anxious or we have anxiety, we probably go online. We scroll TikTok or Twitter. And again, I'm not saying carry a Lord James Bible with you. I'm just saying the overall, like, what's in our bones right now as we are navigating these crazy fucking times. So MIA says, basically all of my fans might turn against me because they are all progressive, who hate people that believe in Jesus Christ in this country. She said, even if it costs me my career, I won't lie. I will tell the truth, and I will tell you what's on my mind and my heart. If I'm coming back now saying Jesus is real, there's a point. Well, that's evolution. I mean, that's on an individual level. Evolution is a beautiful thing. And imagine that we're living in a world now that there's people that would be mad at her for finding faith, for finding some sort of higher power. And it's, you know, I'll say it again, it's wild, all right? I never saw the first season of True Detective. I just watched the first season of True Detective. In my opinion, it's like it's a heavy hitter competition, okay? And I just talked to Kevin with Connolly about it earlier, who thinks it's the greatest first season of television. It's the greatest single standing season of television in the history of television or streaming. I guess it's HBO. So, but it's not a movie. But boy, oh boy, there's some interesting, outside of the fact that McConaughey and Woody Harrelson just go toe to toe with each other. It is a masterclass of acting. I could rewatch it again right now because of so many moments. That whole show is about moments between people. And there's a lot in it. There's a lot in it. Like, everything comes around full circle. The emotion scale, the unconditional love shown between, two humans. But it's anchored in faith, because these crimes that are being committed are being driven by like black magic. Now, you could also go down a rabbit hole and go, well, that's interesting. How long ago was True Detective season 1? And it was about the elite sacrificing children. Like, listen, I don't go down rabbit holes, but I would be a liar if I said that I didn't think that there was some sort of secret societies that were still doing bad things with at the cost of people, right? I've the skull and bones and all that stuff. I don't know, right? I really don't know. But I'll tell you, there is something seriously powerful about that season of television and how it's just rooted in faith. Because they reference it so much, and the family dynamic versus not having the family dynamic. It's kind of wild because, like, let's talk about what's going on in Mexico right now. So El Chapo's son. We know who El Chapo is. Sinaloa cartel. It's in Sinaloa, Mexico. I don't know if you've seen the footage, but there's a war going on there between the cartel, I believe, the American Air Force or the Navy, not the Navy, the Air Force. Maybe it was the Army. I don't know. They were shooting some high-powered weapons out of a helicopter. The Mexican government, they arrested Ovidio Guzman, who's El Chapo's son. And I guess I brought that up right now because it's just like, so think about that father-son dynamic, how crazy dysfunctional it is. And I believe that they probably, I don't know, I feel like El Chapo has a chapel somewhere, that they were really faith-based. So my argument isn't that, that this solves all the world's problems. I'm just talking about a vibe. Like, just a dash of seasoning to ground us right now through these times, maybe even bring us together. I also had the term day ones. Day ones. I heard it. I don't know where I heard it, but maybe I heard it in a rap song. I'm not sure. But think about what day ones means. It means you're the ones that have been with you since day one. The ones you're tight, that unbreakable, that unconditional love. That unconditional love is like something that I feel like we can sit back on. We can ground ourselves with. Oh, and by the way, Conor McGregor had the greatest Instagram story in the history of Instagram the other day. I don't know, it was a couple of days ago, and he was taking a video of himself in a mirror, but he zoomed in, and he is so yoked right now, and the caption was Godzilla. This is a guy that, ultimate entertainer. What a showman. I'll get behind anything Conor gets behind. Godzilla. Like, I'm not going to shy away from this. I am a beast right now. I am a big boy looking to do big boy things. Could involve damage. Could involve just making money. Can't really read between the lines, but that's why it's so good. So that was a beautiful thing. It was really a beautiful thing to see that. And think about this. I don't know if are you following this Idaho killer? Man, oh man. Man, oh man. Is it going to be some weird, Seven sort of thriller? Or does this guy, is he just vacant of all faith? And I love the word so much better than religion, because faith to me feels like if you do the right thing, you have to have faith in the energies, the cosmic fucking universe, that you're going to get rewarded. Right? And I'm just like, I'm spilling over with it. And by the way, it's raining here. It's miserable. It's tough to feel good right now in this climate, whether you're in the darkness, freezing cold of Canada right now, or in the plains of Montana. I don't know. But I just think that it's an interesting thing. I also, man, this is a weird story, okay? It's a weird story, but so I have a friend that had a friend of theirs visiting over the holidays. And she's a teacher, and it's just a wild, I don't know how it came up. I guess she's a teacher who taught a student like 10 years prior. And 10 years later, meaning April of 2020, this guy became famous because he posted a video in the heart of the pandemic that went viral on WorldStar called Fuck Coronavirus, okay? And this guy, like, I don't know how, okay, so she became friends with him, or they were pen pals. And what happened was I was privy to some of these conversations, but which is wild, because the question I asked was, wait, how are you? I thought, like, if I see in the movies, if you go to prison, you're not allowed to have a phone. Now, it's come to my attention, and I don't know if this is for state prisons and federal prisons you're not allowed, or what the stats are. I didn't look it up. But apparently you get some sort of tablet in prison, and you have an approved callers list that you're allowed to SMS text with. Now, God knows who owns the contract for that SMS texting, but that's probably they're probably printing money over there. But then I was thinking to myself, Sean, you talk about, the criminals should go to jail. Yes, I agree. Now, what's wild about this individual is that he's currently in jail right now, not for the coronavirus charges, because that got a lot of news and they actually had to drop them. I don't know if I should say his name, but yeah, I'll say his name, Rashawn Davis. This is where this faith sort of idea started bubbling in my head. And it's really macro. I don't know. I'm at 30,000 feet on it right now, okay? I think criminals should go to jail. Do I think that you should be in jail if you haven't been convicted of a crime yet, and the only reason that you're in jail is because you can't post the $20,000 bond? No, I don't. It's like Biden went to the border, right? We got guys, young men in jails across the country that are there pending charges. They haven't been convicted of something yet, but they can't post the bail, right? Because, you might think, oh, everybody can bail bondsmen don't just post bail for anyone. If you got a $20,000 bail, you got to come up with $2,000 of your own. But the bondsman is on the hook for the 18. So he doesn't know if you're going to post bail or show up to court. Like, it's not that easy. Our system has no faith because we have no faith in the system, because the system essentially is broken. Electronic monitoring bracelets. This Idaho killer, they pinged his phone. They could find him based on his phone. Why do we have young men? How are you ever going to rehabilitate somebody? Give somebody faith that they're going to be able to actually turn their life around If you just hold them in jail because they're pending charges, why can't we just put a monitor around their ankle? Home arrest, all this stuff. The whole fucking system is broken. And I'm talking 30,000 feet right now. I haven't gone into the details of privatized prisons and what type of business that is. I'm sure it's a very lucrative one. But we got a wide open border, right? Why don't we just put monitor bracelets on everybody that comes across the border and say, you know what? We'll do this the right way. You want to come here and pay taxes? No problem. Because I have no problem with immigration. If you come in legally and you pay taxes, that means there's more money for our country to hopefully do good things. Now, the $1.7 trillion package that was signed before Christmas, I just saw an interesting little statistic. Very interesting little statistic. Let me just read it. I'll go over it right now. Okay. 45 billion of that went to Ukraine in aid. 335 million to prepare for influenza pandemic. Now, if we didn't just go through a PSYOP pandemic, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. We're gonna really get prepared for the next pandemic. But God, how could you have any faith in any of the decisions that any of the people are making in charge when it comes to our freedom and our health? I mean, come on. 286 million in Title X funding. I don't even know what that is. 65 million for salmon restoration. I can get behind that. If the salmon are having issues, let's sink some money. 65 million drop in the bucket compared to 45 billion in Ukraine aid. Salmon need help. 65 million in programs for Senator Leahy and a federal building named for Nancy Pelosi. Hey, we have presidential libraries. I think Barack's is like, I don't know, a couple $100 million. Maybe it's even wildly more. I'm not sure. But 30 million for Nancy to get a building. I think that's outside the lines. And that's not even a political thing. I don't care who. Is Leahy a Republican? Because Leahy shouldn't be getting 30 either. Oh, and 3.6 million for the Michelle Obama Trail. Hey, I mean, I don't know how long the trail is, and I don't know what kind of upkeep and where it is. It's on federal land, whatever. I guess the what I'm coming back to is two things. Where is our faith, and where do we sit into it in times of turmoil, but also in times of motivation? Because that feels fucking good, right? Because in times of turmoil, we should do as many things as we can to help us feel better, to succeed, to grow stronger, to come together. Because otherwise, we're divided. And, to go 60,000 feet, there feels like there's a lot of division happening that they want to happen. On a lighter note, Dave, I heard you say something earlier that you occasionally watch Saved by the Bell because it's a safety show. Explain that to me. I that resonated with me. It made me feel good that you felt safe.
So basically, when either if I'm need to be cheered up, or I just need something that's kind of comfortable to me, or my comfort show. People have a comfort meal they go to when they're feeling down.
Yeah. Saved
by the Bell does the same for me. If I'm feeling down or need some motivation or inspiration, it's one of my childhood shows that I watched all the time, and it always makes me feel better.
I like it. I like that. That feels good. Moneybag Yo. I just started hitting this Moneybag Yo album. It's funny. I've now. Once the holidays finished, it was like Monday morning I woke up and I had to get back on the trap game because I got to get energized. I got to hustle. I got to get a job. I got to get jobs. and I needed something a little bit more. I don't know. I didn't even consciously think about it. It just, the vibe was already there. It was inside me. But this record, Moneybagg Yo, Yo Gotti, Moneybagg Yo, and CMG, the label. This thing is heavy. It's got some heat to it. I highly recommend it. But I'm also listening to Zach Bryan. You know? So I'm kind of all over the place. I guess I do want to talk about Damar Hamlin because, you know, we've all seen it. It's now, I'll be totally honest with you. Oh, by the way, just on a side note, this really wise woman that I see sometimes and talk about interesting things with. Her name's Alice. She loves movies. She told me about this. She told me that in 1960, the U.S. Army had a pen pal program. So, like, she was her uncle's pen pal while he was overseas, I guess fighting in Vietnam. You know, the power of connection? Like, I was thinking about that. The faith in that. Pen pals. Right? Sort of like the SMS texting. Inmates have the ability to do that. I mean, I guess, how do you rehabilitate if you can't have faith that there's something on the outside or to come home to? I just thought it was so interesting that, you know, that the U.S. Army had that. Because, like, I don't know. I haven't heard about that. You know? I haven't heard about that or seen that. So this Damar Hamlin thing. All right, I'll be completely honest. When I saw it on TV, I'm not even going to call it, my conspiracy tentacles went off. I, as a former professional athlete, said something really weird just happened. Because I've seen guys get knocked out from concussions, right? I believe I was on the ice when Colton Orr knocked out Todd Fedoruk. And, Nathan Horton, really, really severe concussions. I have been privy to or watched on YouTube. What happens is the person they're out cold before they even hit the ground. And then their limbs essentially go stiff, and in some cases it looks like they're choking. So when the Hamlin thing happened, he gets clipped, he gets hit. It's a good hit. You see it 100 times during a game. And he jumps back up to his feet, and then it looks like somebody just pulled the plug out of him. His lights just went off. I said to myself, something does not seem like it belongs here. Okay. Now, there's some wild videos that you can watch online right now of people sleuths. And thank God there's internet sleuths, because the internet sleuths, I think, are assisting in the Idaho killer story. I mean, there's a lot of things that are coming out of it that the sleuths are finding. I don't know where these people are like, I mean, they're like their own true detectives. It's incredible. But there's videos you can see where the ambulance that they brought out on the field, it kind of looks like a U-Haul truck. I don't know. You know, listen, perspective is everything. And I'm just saying, there's a feeling when I watch some of this stuff and I go, oh, this is weird. This is weird because I felt something was weird initially. There was no one around when I saw it. I was by myself. And I said to myself, something make me go, that doesn't seem right. Now, I believe he posted something or there's a picture online. I don't know if Damar Hamlin posted it, but he's wearing a number 3 hat. And it says love for Damar. Now, Dave, who does he play for? Does he play for Buffalo?
Yeah, he's the Bills safety. And the hit happened against T. Higgins.
Can you check what number he is?
Number 3.
He is number 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why they said they were making all these connections, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about
as far as the last game.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about there. That's some sort of other internet sleuth. But this picture gets posted. And a nurse in the comments says, why is he not on a heart monitor? The bare minimum after surviving what he did. Now, that doesn't make sense to me as a nurse, but who knows? Well, I would say to that, professional athletes can heal a lot faster. I mean, I had a lacerated spleen, and I think I was at the Met Ball 11 days later, right? So then she goes on to say, also, his saline lock isn't taped properly. It looks like a prop. Now, if you listen to Dr. Brett Weinstein and Joe Rogan, their interview from last week, holy shit, man. The revelations that are coming to the surface about how the vaccine was actually administered and how it's possible that in some cases where there's been vaccine injury, it's because it hasn't been administered properly and it hit a blood vessel. And this mRNA technology gets in there, and he explained it like, your liver can repair itself, but the heart is an organ that can't. So once there's heart damage, it's irreplaceable. So do you see where I'm coming around full circle on that? And then I look at that and I have like, man, we put our faith in blindly in our government to tell us to do something that was safe. Is the whole idea of faith questioned right now? And is that even more of a reason for us as individuals to tap into some sort of faith so that you can sit into something in these times of turmoil? I don't know. It's just, I'm trying to connect the dots here, but none of it's making sense. I did see something. This is something that I really want to read. Okay, so this guy, Mark Randolph, he's a Netflix co-founder, entrepreneur, mentor, and investor. He posted this. He said, I've worked hard for my entire career to keep my life balanced with my job. In my book, I write about my Tuesday date nights with my wife. For over 30 years, I had a hard cutoff on Tuesdays, rain or shine. I left at exactly 5 p.m. and spent the evening with my best friend. We would go to a movie, have dinner, or just go window shopping downtown together. Nothing got in the way of that. No meeting, no conference call, no last-minute questions or requests. If you have something to say to me on Tuesday afternoon at 4:55, you had better say it on the way to the parking lot. If there was a crisis, we are going to wrap it by 5. Those Tuesday nights kept me grounded, and they put the rest of my work in perspective. He says, additionally, in fact, the thing I'm most proud of in my life is not the companies I've started. It's the fact that I was able to start them while staying married to the same woman, having my kids grow up knowing me, and best as I can tell, liking me and being able to spend time pursuing the other passions in my life. That's my definition of success. Yeah, the grounded thing was the thing that hit me, What is our faith? Where is our faith? And what grounds us during these times? Hillary Clinton voted for the Iraq War, oversaw Benghazi tragedy and the murder of 4 Americans, turned Libya into a failed state, destabilized Iraq, Syria, leading to the rise of ISIS, and Colombia just hired her to teach global affairs. I don't know. I am thinking about starting a GoFundMe for Rashawn Davis, who I've never spoken to on the phone. I said, listen, Is he currently incarcerated for any crimes against children or women? No. Apparently, maybe there's a fentanyl rap, something like that. You know, I was like, I don't judge. You know, don't knock the hustle until you're in the jungle. You know, you don't know what's going on in rural Arkansas. You don't know what people have to do in inner city Cincinnati. It's like that Migos line. There's a Migos line that I love. I went in the jungle, ain't got a coat. I bet I'd come out with a mink. Yeah, that's what it is. I could never be a rapper. I went in the jungle, ain't got a coat. I bet I'd come out with a mink. I do this shit for my fam. Because that's what's most important to me. Let that sit with you a little bit. Stew on that a little bit. Think about it. Would you give a couple of bucks if I start a GoFundMe? To maybe give a guy a little bit of faith, not in the system, but just in the ether. We got all these problems we can solve, but we just have to help each other and connect. It feels pretty good. Yeah. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Episode 39, no gruffs given. We'll see you next week.
Action Park
Media.